Good morning, I'm Isaiah Jacob. If you just missed it, Team USA just won gold in overtime, 2-1 over Canada. It was Jack Hughes on the goal and the CBJ's Zach Werenski on the assist. Yesterday in college hoops, multiple marquee matchups as third-ranked Duke beat number 1 Michigan 68-63, handing the Wolverines just their second loss of the season. Cincinnati took down 8th-ranked Kansas on the road 84-68, and then UCLA defeated 10th-ranked Illinois 95-94. Today in hoops, OSU men's team, they travel to 15th-ranked Michigan State at 1 p.m., and then the 10th-ranked Lady Bucks host USC at 2 p.m. The Cavs are also in action today against the Oklahoma City Thunder at 1 as they try to extend their winning streak to 6-0 since the James Harden acquisition. Multiple teams are knotted up at the top of the East. The Cavs are 4th, but just 1 game back of the 2 seed.
Live and local, it's time for Fan Sports Sunday. If the weekend is a big desert for sports talk, think of this show as an oasis.
Yes, here we go.
Come drink from our pool of hot takes as you quench your thirst with. I thought I was going somewhere, but I'm not. So let's just start the show.
All right, so I got 2 pieces of good news for you as I make sure my ringer's off. I got 2 pieces of good news. One, we know what time the show ends today.
Nice.
So we won't have any 1-minute segments where there's no rejoin and we just start talking for literally about 60 seconds. Also, as Isaiah Jacob just shared with us, Cole Bartemes, Dylan Gonzales, producer Rothman and Ice, producer of T-Bone and Tyvis, the USA won gold, which was an awesome outcome, and I'm so glad that it happened before this show started because the focus level would have been almost impossible.
Yes.
As Biz in Vegas were just telling us. And so you and I are simultaneously trying to prepare a show while watching this game. And this game kind of impacts a little bit the preparation of the show because we want to at least talk about it a little bit. And then we're also trying to plan our other topics. And so it was just like a mad scramble just to get into this thing. I'm so glad that they won it in the exact timing that they did within the past 10 minutes. So that's cool.
Yeah.
It's cool that Zach Werenski was a part of it, getting the assist in the 3-on-3 in the overtime. So that's awesome. And they won gold. Kenny Albert said for the first time since the Miracle on Ice.
Yeah.
So there we go.
Yeah. There was a 4-minute double minor with about 6.5 minutes in the third period that benefited the U.S., and then once they didn't score there, I was like, oh, no, it's over. And then they committed a penalty, so they were trying to kill off the power play with about 2 minutes left. And then the game goes into overtime. Then, like you said, Zach Werenski with the primary assist to Jack Hughes. USA, baby.
Yeah, and
USA.
So the shots on goal, I think,
was
significantly, significantly in Canada's favor. And so very real possibility this game would have gone a different way, but we ain't got to worry about that.
Nope.
How about that?
And I wonder, I was thinking about this earlier, but now that it actually happened, I hope that Zach Werenski just rides this momentum into the second half for the Columbus Blue Jackets. I mean, he's kind of been snubbed for the best defender in the NHL award. I think this year you got to give it to him. Obviously, we got a whole 30-something games left to go in the NHL season, but give Zach Werenski his due, NHL.
That'd be nice.
Yes.
Especially with his production. But
a playoff push for the Jackets would also help that.
Yeah. All right. So we got to pull up the standings just for a brief second because this Olympic break is taking forever.
Yes. I mean, they were on a massive winning streak going into the break. It sucks that that break kind of kills their momentum.
7 in a row.
Yes. But as Tyvis and T-Bone always tell me, they're still the hottest team in the NHL, technically, just because they're still on a winning streak.
Well,
the break didn't stop the winning streak.
No, it didn't, but I think momentum has been stalled for everybody, so nobody's the hottest team. So we'll find out on the very first game day, and now I'm going to look that up as well to see when that next game would be, and it would be 2/26, so what's 4 days from Sunday? Thursday? Sound about right?
Yeah, it's on Thursday.
Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. Wait, what?
Yes,
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. There you go.
They play the Bruins on Thursday, and they play the Islanders on Saturday. Both teams they're chasing in the standings and are really close. One for the wild card and one for a spot in the Metropolitan, I believe. So two big games right off the rip for the Jackets, and Zach Werenski will obviously be a huge part of that after a big afternoon today.
All right, there you go. Zach Werenski, front and center, USA gold medalist, all exciting. I had a couple of friends, at least, who went out to local venues early. I was definitely not going to do that.
I saw that Yogi's, shout out to Yogi's, they opened early for the gold medal game. Very patriotic of them.
Which one? All of them? There's one right by my apartment.
I normally go to the one on Hard Road. I think that was the one, but I'm sure all of them were. They're normally on the same page when it comes to stuff.
On Sawmill. Yeah.
Yeah, right off of Sawmill.
On Hard Road, but I got you.
Yep.
But yeah, so that's cool. I think I'm past that point in my life. I never did the 5 a.m., 6 a.m. rally for like Michigan games or something like that. That's not me. The 8 a.m., the 9 a.m. I could have.
Right.
And probably did. With the amount of new games that Ohio State plays, and being an Ohio State student, not now, but was, that I'm graduated from that.
Right.
So with this event, not that I didn't care, but I was not going to do all of the memes that everyone's putting out there of like 5 a.m. like let's get rallying for this game. It's like maybe if you're on the West Coast, I can understand why you would do that, but. Hail to the no.
No, the closest I'll get to that at my advanced age of 33 years old is
congratulations.
For March Madness, I will go when the bar's open. But that's mainly to get a spot. I like being in the midst of other people for March Madness. I don't know. It's just it's just different.
Well, you also need
everyone's excited for every game for a different reason, whether it be their bracket, betting purposes. Like everyone's watching every screen if you go to the right sports bar.
It's not just that. The most important thing with that is that you need multiple televisions.
Yes, that is also
It's because
key.
there are 4 games at least going on at the same time, at least for the first weekend. And so that's why you need to be in a sports venue for that.
Right. And I like to do that for Thursday and Friday. For the second round, I just stay at home and I'm like, I got enough tablets, phones, TVs to have it covered from that. But for the first round, yes, it's just easier to be at the bar. You're absolutely right.
With this thing, though, like, I was interested in the match. Listen, I'm talking like it's tennis. I was interested in the gold medal game,
right?
But I was not so interested that I was going to be joining my friends at like 7 a.m. at some bar. Okay, I'll just turn on NBC in my living room.
Here's why it's not for me. I have a 7-year-old at my house, so I wasn't.
We'll get into that in a brief moment.
But if you don't have any obligations, or if it's easy for you to get someone to watch your kids, for big U.S. events, you just want to be around other people and be patriotic. I think that's what this is.
Yeah.
It's like not everybody, but 99.9% of people in bars in the United States that went out this morning / this afternoon to watch this game was to root for Team USA. How often do you go to a bar and everyone's rooting for the same team?
Okay, that's a good point. Well, I mean,
unless you're like
team-themed bars.
Yeah, Buckeye Bar on a Saturday here in Columbus. But besides that, you have about like when there's a big World Cup game in soccer or a big Olympic game in hockey. Is like the only time that everyone's going to go to the bar and actually care about Team USA and watch in unison and act like they've been following all along when really they haven't. But that's okay. It's just about being patriotic and rooting for Team USA. Like I remember when the last time the United States got out of the knockout round, or they got into the knockout round for the World Cup, everyone was going to bars to watch Team USA play.
How long ago was that?
A while. I want to say like 2012, 2016.
I was about to say, I may remember it actually.
Because those are Olympic years.
2010.
Yeah.
Ghana?
Somewhere around there. 2014-ish. Somewhere around there.
First of all, big week for you. You mentioned it. You now have a 7-year-old daughter.
Yes.
Okay, so we made the transition. So is it like it was when I was a kid where it's like when it's your birthday, your parents come in and they bring the cupcakes and the cookies and they kind of like corner everyone into joining your birthday party, whether you like it or not?
I didn't do that.
No?
And she has a party every other year, basically. Because
every other year?
Yes, because we have a birthday party and then I get annoyed with everyone that was there. And
you have a whole year off.
Next year, I'm not.
That's not enough?
I'm not doing it. I mean, so Tuesday I picked her up from school and I took her to Big Air, which is a trampoline park in Polaris. I'm just giving out a bunch of free plugs this morning.
Okay, I'm familiar with Sky Zone. Is it similar to that?
Yeah, it's a similar concept. But I bought her a yearly membership for Christmas. So now that's all we do. I'm like, I'm getting my money's worth out of this. Because you could go as many times as you want.
Yeah.
At that point. So I took her to that. She's obsessed with IHOP, which I can do IHOP, but she literally ate IHOP 2 nights in a row for dinner. That's what she wanted for her birthday. And then the weekend we went to a place called Splash Harbor up in Belleville. It's about an hour north of here. It's like more than a hotel
by Mansfield.
pool. Yes, more than a hotel pool, but less than a water park.
Okay.
You know how kids are about hotels?
Like with friends?
They're
or was
stoked.
it just you?
Nope, just the two of us. She loved it. She's very independent. I was like, you want me to get in the pool with you? She's like, nope, I'm swimming by myself.
Okay, interesting. So I looked up on Chad, as we call it. I asked Chad, what advice would you give a father whose daughter just turned 7 years old?
Okay, let's see what
Chad
the bot has
replied,
to say.
That's a really meaningful age. 7 is where little kid magic meets real personality, logic, and independence. Would you say that your daughter exhibits personality, logic, and independence?
No logic yet.
Okay, here's the advice I'd give a dad at this stage. 1, stay her safe place even as she gets more independent. At 7, she'll want to try new things on her own, but she still needs to know you're her emotional anchor.
Yes, so I said this. I think I said this on
emotional anchor who won't let her invite friends to her own birthday party.
I didn't
because
say
we don't do that we only do that on the even years.
Right. She is at the point now where she has a lot of opinions, but she doesn't have the logic to just use the term that you just used to realize why some of her ideas are bad.
Okay.
So she's like, I have this great idea and I think we should do it. And if you try to push back on it, she's like, no, you're stupid. I like this idea and we should do it, Dad.
All right, so you got to protect her confidence fiercely. This is when comparison starts. School, sports, friendships. Praise effort, not just results. Say things like, you worked really hard on that. I loved how you kept trying.
No, I'm the type of parent, we play Switch Sports and I'll just beat the crap out of her in every single game and be like, get better if you want to stop whining. That's where I'm at.
How about this one? Watch how you talk about women. She's learning what men think of women, what love looks like, what kind of treatment is normal.
I do embrace the girl dad thing very, very hugely. So I yes, that's a big thing for me.
All right, there you go. Congratulations on your big week. Your daughter turned 7. We got some stuff to talk about, okay? College basketball is creating stars and villains, and it's actually some of the most interesting college basketball content we've had in a long time. We'll rap about it next. Stick around. Fan Sports on The Fan.
Unlike your deadbeat uncle, we'll never leave you stranded in a ditch when you were 6. This promo may have been a touch too specific. The Fan.
I'm Jay Plyburn, anchor at 10 TV News This Morning. Not long ago, my wife Whitney and I packed up a camper van, hit the road, and spent months exploring national parks and small-town farmers markets, having the adventure of a lifetime. Now my goal is to help you start your day feeling informed and ready for what's ahead. From the impact of state and local decisions to breaking news from Dublin to Delaware, we've got you covered. Because when news moves fast, you need a team that moves with you. Make the move to 10 TV News This Morning, weekdays from 5 to 9, anywhere you watch.
Germain Honda of Dublin cares about your vehicle and your time, and they do that with same-day service with no appointment necessary. Sell them your vehicle at their buying center and get paid as soon as the same day. Shop great lease and finance offers on all the Honda favorites, like the Passport, the Odyssey, and the redesigned Pilot. Service it, sell it, or drive something new. Germain Honda of Dublin on Sawmill Road, just south of 270, or online at germainhondaofdublin.com.
Hey there, friends. Bo Bishop here from my friends at High Bank Distillery Co. It's well known. High Bank is my go-to when I want an award-winning whiskey, but did you also know that they make the best vodka in America? They have 3 incredible spots here in Central Ohio where the food is just as good as what's in the glass. They've got something for everyone, and get this, kids eat half off every Monday, so whether you're sipping on the best vodka in America or simply grabbing a meal with family and friends, High Bank delivers every time. Find a location and a menu at highbankco.com. Dine, drink, distill at High Bank.
Listen up, basketball fans. You won't want to miss this.
Right now, new Bet365 customers bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. So you could turn that $150 into something bigger when you bet on player points, rebounds, triple doubles.
$150 in bonus bets when new customers bet $5. I know where I'm going to bet from now on. Download the app today and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio. T&Cs apply. In-app only.
Hey Central Ohio, it's Andrew from Home Team Solutions, and yes, we buy houses for cash the easy way. We've been buying houses for over 20 years and we've seen it all. Whether you've inherited a property, you're behind on payments, the house needs work, or just want to avoid the hassle of listing, we've got you covered. No repairs, no clean out, no stress, just a fair cash offer and you pick the closing date. We've helped hundreds of homeowners sell fast and hassle-free, and we're proud to have 5-star reviews all across Central Ohio and an A+ rating with the BBB. If you're ready to sell your house the easy way, call Home Team Solutions at 614-962-SELL. That's 614-962-7355, or visit us online at selltohometeam.com. Home Team Solutions, local, trusted, and family-owned. Again, that's 614-962-SELL. 614-962-7355 or selltohometeam.com.
Our double hung is as good as it gets. There's something really simple. It's called an interlock. We interlock our windows. The interlock is the absolute best way to alleviate air infiltration. With the interlock, it's harder to break into. When you interlock the sashes, it makes a better window. It's just a darn good window, and we're very proud of it.
Call Rizzotti today at 777-4806.
Back in the day, if you wanted to listen to the fan, you turned on the radio, and that was the end of the story. But now, oh baby, stream us live on the Fan app. TuneIn app, iHeart app, we're everywhere. The Fan, Ohio's streaming destination.
Why does it matter to members that Aetna was named a Best Medicare Advantage company by U.S. News & World Report? Because they chose a plan that gives them real support, real people, and real care. We show up on calls with members and doctors' offices when needed. We show up with access to convenient care options and coverage that fits everyday life. We don't show up for awards. We show up for you. And showing up for you is how healthier happens together.
Great Lakes Hyundai. The savings are so good. Great Lakes Hyundai wants you to save your refund this tax season with 90 days of no car payments and 0% financing on 26 Hyundai Santa Fe's and Tucsons for up to 60 months. No payments, 90 days, 0%. Keep your tax money in your pocket. Go now for the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. Dublin or Columbus or glakeshyundai.com. With proof credit, some customers may not qualify. Interest accrues during no payment period. New Hyundais come equipped with owner assurance and America's best warranty. A 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain coverage. Offer ends 3/2.
It's a new year. Ready for a fresh start or career reboot? At My Computer Career, prep for a more recession-resistant future in the high-demand fields of IT, cybersecurity, in months, not years, including AI. Whether you're starting out or switching careers, no prior training is needed. Attend school online from home or on campus. Go to mycomputercareer.edu to take the free career evaluation today. mycomputercareer.edu, an elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
We are tracking scattered snow showers here across the area for today into tonight, and overall there will be the chance for a couple heavier bursts of snowfall as we get into this afternoon. Now going to see a lot of that, and in total we're tracking about a dusting to a couple of inches here by tonight. And that's a look at your 10 weather impact forecast. I'm meteorologist Darryn White here on 97.1 The Fan.
Catch T-Bone and Tyvus weekday mornings from 6 to 9. If you're not completely satisfied, we'll rewind time and erase your brain. For real, The Fan. We firmly believe it's appropriate to tailgate before a youth soccer game. You're listening to Fan Sports Sunday.
So one of my greatest disappointments of the basketball season so far was when UCLA came to town, and Mick Cronin, who is really making a name for himself out there every time he steps in front of a microphone. I was so looking forward to Mick Cronin doing a post-game press conference. I was actively rooting for Ohio State basketball in a way that I don't usually. I just kind of just watch. But I was rooting so hard for Ohio State to beat UCLA that day so I could see Mick Cronin at his most ticked off.
Yeah, you wanted him on his worst behavior.
Exactly. I wanted to be in the same room as it so I could catch it in real life, in real time. I did not get that, because what ended up happening was that Mick Cronin just did a one-on-one in the hallway with some like LA Times reporter or something like that. Or actually, I think there were two people out there. But he basically, just because, Los Angeles to Columbus, just on some, like, they're not sending 17 UCLA media people to Columbus, Ohio to follow the road trip, because just people aren't spending that kind of money for it. And so I'm sitting in there. I'm in the press conference room. I'm looking. I'm ready to go. I'm like, man, because usually the away coach goes first.
Right.
And so Mick Cronin I'm just waiting. It's kind of taking a while. I'm like, what's going on? Where the away coach supposed to be here? What's going on? And then, Gary comes into SID at Ohio State for the Buckeye basketball team. Hey, guys, Mick's doing that out there. We're just going to do Buckeyes in here today. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me.
Well, if you remember, we were both at the game on press row, but I skipped the presser. And I'm glad that I did, because that would have been the only reason why I attended, was to see Mick Cronin on his worst behavior. But it sounds like he was just... Did you get to see what he said after the fact?
Oh, I did. And I'm about to play it for you.
Right.
Because he was on one again this week. But just to recap everybody and make sure that everybody knows, because what's all built up to this point, this is where it started. This was after UCLA lost to Ohio State, and this is him dogging his players like crazy.
Highly disappointed in getting our ass kicked physically and our inability to play defense.
What can be done?
I offer no excuses. You blame me. Blame me. I recruited them. I signed them as free agents. We're not going to win meaningful games if we can't stop the other team. I'm not going to have much to say, so I'm going to give it to you. Okay. Last couple games, it was great. Today, we couldn't guard them. We had plenty of time to get ready and talk about it. Problem is, we didn't have anybody could guard Thornton or Mobley. We had nobody, in my opinion, we didn't have anybody interested in rising to that challenge. We had nobody interested in rising to the challenge defensively. Everybody wants somebody else to get the dirty work. We're a team that struggles with to have dirty work guys.
So what can be done going forward?
Nothing. I can't trade guys. You're going to get dirty work. You get your ass kicked physically. You don't defend. In the Big Ten, you're going to lose. You got anything?
You can't trade guys. Not yet. Maybe that's coming in college basketball.
When Jerome Tang does it, he gets fired. But Mick Cronin is winning enough games. But so that's where this all started, at least for me. I'm sure I don't doubt that there was probably some more audio throughout the offseason building up to this year, maybe after some of the non-conference games, whatever. But that's what really got it on my radar this season. That kind of kicked off this whole Mick Cronin media tour, which then immediately followed up because when UCLA was here at Ohio State playing at the Shot, Purdue was already in Los Angeles getting ready for their road trip. Okay, so the next game for UCLA was to fly all the way back home to Pasadena to then play, wherever they are, because I think Pasadena's far away. I think their stadium's far away from their campus.
Right.
But so I don't know where the basketball arena is. But flying back to Southern California, where Purdue was already sitting there waiting for them, UCLA beats Purdue, who was a top 5 team in the country at the time, and Mick Cronin was still not satisfied.
I want to thank the Big Ten for giving us 5 of our first 7 on the road. Bringing Purdue here on Thursday night, where we don't get back in LA till Saturday morning, and giving us the team pick to win the league on a 2 days rest after 5 of our first 7 on the road. I want to thank the Big Ten for that.
You're liable to make it worse next year.
It couldn't be much worse. Hey, I don't think they care about basketball.
So he goes to the Ohio State game, calls out all of his players, sarcastically blames himself. Really, he's blaming all of them.
Right.
And questions their toughness very, very publicly, and then pulls off a massive upset against Purdue. Now, I know that it's college basketball, so you always just pick the home team just by default, but still, huge upset against Purdue, and then he's still not satisfied, and he's saying that the Big Ten doesn't care about basketball. And so
the Big
up
Ten,
to that point, I was a fan, not that I'd want to play, I would not want to play for him, because he seems ridiculous.
Me neither.
But as far as just like villains in sports, I think villains are good. I was kind of rooting for his villainhood, I guess.
I mean,
up to that point,
he has a bone to pick when it comes to the scheduling issue he brought up after the Purdue game, but that's not on the Big Ten. That's on all the West Coast teams in the Big Ten that decided to join the Big Ten for mainly football purposes, and to hell with all the other sports. This is the backlash of that. That's what you're going to get. You're going to get. There's no way for USC, UCLA, Oregon, Washington to have a favorable basketball schedule. It's just impossible.
I think, yeah. And then look, I mean, Purdue's got to play somebody on the road,
right?
And so like when they go there, it's like it just so happens to be you. So that's something that I think is kind of like cyclical a little bit, where it just so happens that UCLA somebody had to draw the short straw, I think is the phrase. And so it just so happened to be UCLA then. So then he's going off but at that point,
I'm just saying there's no point complaining about it, because it's not going to get fixed unless they join a different league. This is reality for you from here on out, as long as you're in the Big Ten with a bunch of Midwest schools.
That's fine. But up to that point, I kind of liked the nastiness of Mick Cronin. I kind of liked his villainhood. And then it took a turn this week after the Michigan State game. I'm sure many of you have seen the clip where they're just getting beat to hell in East Lansing. And then one of his players has a hard foul that Mick Cronin at the time deemed to be a dirty play. And then here we go. We have another spicy post-game media availability, this time in East Lansing. But this one, I think, crossed over into a category that I'm not comfortable with.
What was your thoughts in the student section chanting Booker's name?
I could give a rat's ass about the other team's student section.
I just meant overall the way that you
I would like to give you kudos for the worst question I've ever been asked.
Did you like
You should take it.
the preparation of the...
Do you really think I care about the other team's
No, I don't think you care about the other
Are you
team.
raising your voice at me?
No, I'm just...
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are. Come on, dude.
No reason.
Come on. Yes, you are. Everybody's standing here listening to you. Everybody. This is on camera. They can hear you. I answered the question. I could give a rat's ass about the other team's student section. I coach UCLA. I don't care about Michigan State students. I mean, who cares?
The who cares and the I don't care about Michigan State students are two drops that will definitely be in the Rothman and Ice rotation. Just letting you know right now. But I did not like the way that he gaslit that reporter.
I was in the same boat as you where I was like, I wasn't necessarily agreeing with what he was saying before, but I was like, yeah, I like this. When he said, don't raise your voice at me to another grown man who didn't even really raise his voice at him, that's when I was like, I can't stand this dude anymore. Like, you're both adults, even though you're the college basketball coach of arguably the most prestigious program in the country, doesn't mean you should step to another grown man like that. That's just trying to do his job. Like he was getting, a little fiery with him, and the reporter I would say he got excited. I wouldn't say he raised his voice. And then for you to try to embarrass him in front of all the other reporters, like, I'm not cool with that.
Yeah,
I'm done with Mick Cronin.
We've all been there in a back and forth before where you feel like you're kind of losing leverage in the argument and you kind of get wound up a little bit. Your voice gets a little higher. So, like, volume-wise, yeah, his voice was getting raised, but, like, he wasn't being condescending or rude the way that Mick Cronin was.
Right.
And so I had a big problem with that because we went from – and – I'm sure if you asked his players would say, I prefer that to the Ohio State sequence where he just said that none of us had any heart. So, I guess this is media backing media in a way. So easy for me to say. But that got a little bit nasty to the point where I wasn't cool with that because Mick Cronin, who is the instigator in this scenario and is in most, is now trying to put the blame on other people in that situation and very condescending and just like you said, like two adults talking like that, like that's just I'm not like totally big on needing to get respect from everybody. If someone disrespects you, it can roll off my back and I can be like, dude, I don't even care about your opinion of me. I really don't. So like that's usually how I can operate, but in that environment right there, like, that was so condescending to the point of, trying to publicly embarrass somebody.
Right.
I wasn't down with that.
No, like you said, it was the definition of gaslighting. That's what it was. It was like he baited him and then was like, dude, why are you getting mad?
All right.
That's basically what he did.
So we have the villain in Mick Cronin. But what happens when the villain tries to turn into a little bit of a nice guy? And also, Bill Self is starting to crack on his star player. We'll talk about those things in 2 minutes. Fan Sports on The Fan.
I started my first business when I was 12, mowing lawns for about $5 a yard. I learned if you do the job right, people trust you and customers care that you show up and do what you say you're going to do. Hi, I'm Tommy Mello, owner of Don's Garage Doors. From garage door repairs to upgrades, we show up, we stand behind every job. We only use the best parts and spring's guaranteed to last a lifetime. When you care about the people you serve, you work harder and it shows. Call Don's Garage Doors today or schedule online at donsgaragedoors.com.
When it comes to garage doors, no one knows more.
Looking to sell your home? Don't pay 6% commission. Call my guys at Sell for 1% Realtors. They're full service, not a do-it-yourself kind of thing. On average, customers save over $10,000. Give them a call, 614-451-6616. That's 451-6616.
Get Eco.
Hey, Jerry. Remember when we launched our $93 drain clearing offer and you invented the phrase 93 or free?
I've actually written quite a few catchphrases in my career.
Oh, yeah. Aren't you the guy who wrote Bob's Your Uncle?
Yep, for my friend Steve, who has an Uncle Bob. I was as surprised as anyone when it caught on with the general public.
Get Eco.
Well, we need 93 or free to catch on. Our experts will clear your clogged household drain for just $93. If we can't, it's free. And we guarantee it'll stay clear for at least a year, or we'll clear it again for free.
Get Eco, and Bob's your uncle. Your drains are clear.
Get Eco.
But Jerry, my uncle's name is Michael.
Get Eco, and Michael's your uncle. Your drains are clear.
Let's stick with 93 or free.
Yeah, good call.
Get Eco.
Eco plumbers, electricians, and HVAC technicians.
GetEco.com.
It's Skyway time at Skyline Chili. Come get your Skyline 3, 4, or 5-way with 50% extra cheese at no extra charge. Regular and large ways only at participating Skyline restaurants for a limited time.
Matty Ice has a large tattoo on his calf of LeBron eating a lion. I have nothing else to say. Rothman and Ice.
Weekdays from noon to 3.
The Fan. Garnish your Bloody Mary with sports talk. You're listening to Fan Sports Sunday.
Yeah, you are. So we were talking in the last segment about basically just laying out the ballad of Mick Cronin and all of the crazy sound bites he's had, although he walked it back this week. So first of all, with the Michigan State ejection, he explained that upon review, he wishes that he didn't eject his own player before the refs did because it didn't look as bad as he had thought. And then he talked to him about it and blah, blah, blah. So we don't even need to play that soundbite. But
I also bet you if that game was closer, he wouldn't have done what he did. They were losing by 1 million, and he was like, let me make a point
frustration
here and eject my own player.
Sure. But here's the thing that I want to focus more on, because Mick Cronin, he publicly, and I guess in some like a weekly media availability or whatever at UCLA, he offered this apology and spoke about not wanting to bring negative attention to UCLA.
I'm lucky to coach here, and like my advice, I've said this to guys like, you get older, lose all your hair. And I have to have facial hair now because I don't want to look like Mr. Clean. But you have to realize, like, and I have to do a better job of this, that in this climate, you got to be careful with what you say, because I'm not here. I'm a good fit here because I know I'm not bigger than the brand, and the brand matters here. The school matters. The last thing I want to do is bring negative publicity to our school.
Since when?
I guess he's just now realizing what he's been doing.
In this climate, you got to watch what you say. Starting now, I guess. Because we just put together the evidence, months worth of evidence of him just spewing off however he wants. And then I guess it crossed, and I said in the last segment that the Michigan State incident this week with him did cross a certain line that I thought was unfair. And so I guess in that sense, the apology would be appropriate. I don't think that was self-induced. I think somebody else kind of gave him a nudge in the right direction. It's like, hey, man, like that was a bit too far.
Right.
Whoever it may be.
Also, this is nowhere near new for him. I mean, most people know he was the coach at Cincinnati before this, and he was on the same stuff. It just, he's doing it at UCLA now versus he was doing it at Cincinnati before. So it's just more well known throughout the nation. But around these parts, we know what we're getting with Mick Cronin.
So villains are good for sports. Mick Cronin, I think, can kind of blend back into being the appropriate villain. He kind of got a little bit inappropriate with Michigan State there. I didn't like his behavior there. That even for someone who thinks villains are good, that was a bridge too far. We are also at a crossroads with another villain in sports, which just happens to be a player, and it has nothing to do with his on-court behavior. In fact, it's everything off the court because he keeps taking himself off the court. I'm talking about Kansas star basketball player Darryn Peterson, who had an interesting week. So he had the Oklahoma State game earlier on in the week where you may have seen the clip. He hits a three-pointer early in the second half. He turns around and he gives a little signal to Bill Self, and Bill Self looks at the bench and subs somebody else in. And I believe Darryn Peterson didn't play the rest of the game.
Correct.
And so up to this, and this has been a bit of a habit. There's been a little bit of a game time decision sort of thing. Where it reminds me of Jadeveon Clowney's junior year at South Carolina, where he kind of load managed that entire season and was kind of a game time decision the entire year because he was a little bit hurt, but he knew that he was going to be the number one pick. And so the problem is, I don't think Darryn Peterson is hurt because he's put together some really, really good basketball when he's been on the floor. So his play looks to be fully healthy. So Bill Self, and this appears to be something, and I'm assuming here, We know what happens when you assume.
Right.
But I'm assuming that this deal had to have been negotiated throughout the recruitment. I guarantee you Bill Self was not the only coach that this was being explained to.
But here's the thing, and I'm sure you're going to play the sound of it.
Yeah.
Based off of, I guess you go ahead and play it. Based off of what he said after that game, makes me think what you just said about this being agreed upon is in fact not the case.
Well, I think what happened, I got to believe that Darryn Peterson in his recruitment was cutting a deal somewhere, somehow that like, hey man, like my priorities are the NBA or whatever the case may be. And so Darryn Peterson, who's now got, despite being a tremendous basketball player, has this terrible reputation of only playing half of the game. And so Oklahoma State game earlier this week, yanks himself out. And Bill Self, who had really been defending him the majority of the season throughout a lot of this behavior, finally started to crack.
Well, we've had it more than a couple of times. And I didn't anticipate that tonight at all. I thought he was good to go. But obviously, we only got 18 minutes out of him. And that's disappointing because he could have had a really big night. But one thing about it is it's happened often enough that our guys have learned to play without him, even though that's not the way we want to play. But that's certainly something that we're not unaccustomed to, right now.
Our guys have learned to play without him, and we're not unaccustomed to that at this point.
That last comment is what makes me think that this isn't what Bill Self thought he was getting into with Darryn Peterson.
Well, yes and no. I agree with that from the sense that I agree with the general statement that he didn't think it would get to this point. However, I think it's starting to become like, and this is why Darryn Peterson's a sports villain. How in the world can you be on the bench in uniform and have zero aspiration to get in the game, especially when you're the best player? If you're some end of the bench high schooler who like is afraid of the moment and like doesn't want to go out there and embarrass yourself in front of your friends in the front row, like, okay, fine. But we're talking about like actual sports here.
Right.
So you're the best player on every single basketball court you could possibly show up on in college. You're the best player in college basketball. You're in uniform. You're sitting on the bench, and you have no aspirations to go get on the court once you've decided that you've had enough, because I'm assuming that the logic here is that he's going to like do two things at once. He's going to preserve his body so that way he doesn't ruin his draft stock, but he's also going to play enough to where his draft stock gets elevated to show that he's the best player.
Right.
So he's trying to do both at the same time, and he's kind of picking and choosing which games to go all out in, because I will say he did play 32 minutes yesterday. That's a full workload. So I got to give him that. He wasn't great because he shot 1 for 7 from beyond the arc, but I got to at least give him that. But picking and choosing like this, I think even if this was negotiated preseason where, hey, if you want Darryn to be on your team, Canton kid, by the way, if you want Darryn to be on your team, Bill Self or whichever other coach he commits to, this is how we're going to go about it. And I got to think that Bill Self probably agreed to that, but did not think it would be this bad, because how in the world can you sit on the bench and not want to get in the game?
See,
that's terrible.
I honestly don't know what to think about this situation, because we talked about it last week with the mentality now of the athlete with like the All-Star game, for example, where it was like, oh, this game doesn't matter. But the older generation was like, these are all the best basketball players in the world in the same spot. Where's your compete level? Where's your mentality to want to prove that you're the best? And so I feel like if this was 2019 and this was happening, I would kind of understand, like pre-NIL, where it's like, okay, I'm not making any money from this. Why am I going to risk injury, risk my NBA draft stock for this? But now with NIL, and I'm sure he got paid a pretty penny to go to Kansas, now it's practically like you are a pro. This is what you're getting paid to do. So play the game.
I'm sure that was negotiated in the NIL deals too. There's no way it couldn't have, because there'd be some feet being held to the fire if that were the case. So yeah. I gotta. This is why today's athletes are so hard to root for. And I got this running joke now. I'm predicting that Darryn Peterson. I'm actually like staunch in this prediction. Darryn Peterson is going to shatter James Harden's record for trade requests when he gets to the NBA. Shatter it.
Yeah.
This is, and it's not just a basketball thing. It's kind of just a generational thing, but it's like most acute in basketball in terms of like the athletes themselves being so hard to root for. Like, Who pulls themselves out of games when they're rolling like that?
You see,
who wants to watch that?
So,
this is all greed.
Everyone's assuming that he's doing this for selfish reasons to preserve his draft stock. But now, I mean, I guess if we don't know how NBA scouts and GMs feel about this, but if you follow the national narrative on this, people are now saying he's hurting his draft stock because it's like, why draft this kid? I'd rather get AJ DeBansa than Darryn Peterson because at least he'll play. But I kind of disagree with that because if Darryn Peterson just goes to the NBA and he's a better player than AJ DeBansa and you decided to just pass on him because of this stuff, then you look stupid. So it's like for the NBA GMs, it's like a lose-lose situation because if you pick him and he starts doing this in the NBA, everyone's going to be like, oh, man, you saw this when he was at Kansas. Why would you pick this kid? But if you don't pick him and he's clearly the best player in this draft, it was like, why did you let that affect your opinion of this kid?
If I were Darryn Peterson's agent, that would be so easy to argue against. I would say, hey, the reason that we were sitting out at Kansas is because we were preparing to be ready for you.
Right.
And so if you let them know, hey, you were the priority. And this is what people said about bowl games and college football players sitting out of bowl games. Right. All that nonsense is like, man, if you don't go out there and play for your other seniors, Christian McCaffrey and Leonard Fournette, I don't know where you're going to be drafted because we don't know what kind of team player you are. Well, guess what? If you can play, you can play. And that's why Leonard Fournette still got drafted 4th overall, and Christian McCaffrey still got drafted 8th overall, even though we have since learned, do not draft running backs that high.
Well, I think the tide is coming back on that. And this is a completely different conversation, but I'm very interested to see where your boy from Notre Dame gets drafted. This year.
We'll hint at that in a second, but the Buckeyes are getting ready in East Lansing, and we'll talk about that next. Stick around. One more segment to go on Fan Sports Sunday.
A lot has changed in 30 years, but we're still that old shoe that feels worn in and well-loved. And, well, we smell a little, but you've accepted that. The Fan.
Low testosterone can be a real problem for many men. It causes poor sleep patterns, decreased energy, low sex drive, and it makes it really hard to stay in shape. And as we all know, a healthy body is very important to our overall health and well-being. This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health, and if some or all of these symptoms sound like you, we can likely help you be done with low T. We can also help you lose weight, support your metabolism, improve your gains in the gym, and more with our new targeted body composition plans featuring GH peptides, NAD+, GLP-1s, and more. Our low T protocols, applied in conjunction with our body composition plans, will help most men see real improvements, true weight loss, higher energy, improved sleep, stronger workouts, and a renewed sex drive as well. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on treatment the same day, your visit is free. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com.
Featured therapies are compounded and have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details.
Just thinking about how prices have gone up stresses me out. Everything's too expensive.
Yeah, but it's all good.
What's your deal?
What's my deal? I saved at Metro by T-Mobile with no activation fees. And I got 4 lines for just $25 each.
Wow.
And 4 free new Samsung Galaxy A17 5G. And no ID required.
Get that more for your money feeling. Only at Metro. Visit your store today. Just bring your numbers. Not available if you've been with Metro or T-Mobile in the past 180 days.
Enjoy more ways to save at Kroger, like low prices in every aisle. And you can clip and save more with digital coupons in the Kroger app. Plus, you can earn fuel points to save up to $1 per gallon at the pump. So it's always easy to save big. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Savings may vary by state. Fuel restrictions apply. See site for details.
Right now, 3-pound packages of 80% lean Kroger brand ground beef are only $4.99 a pound with your card. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
No one plans to get into an accident, but when it happens, we strive in making life easier for you. This is Justin Hinderer. The Hinderer Motor Company Collision Center is ICAR certified and certified by many manufacturers to provide the best quality repair available. All of our repairs come with a lifetime warranty. We have our own 24/7 towing service so you never have to wait. Plus, we offer on-site rental cars for every lifestyle. At Hinderer Motor Company, we love what moves you.
Thanks to your support, the nonprofits VetTix and First Tix have given away tens of millions of tickets and counting to vets currently serving military, the immediate family of troops killed in action, and our brave current and former first responders. These tickets are a meaningful way to say thank you to America's heroes. And now, we want you to be part of the mission. Got extra tickets to concerts, games, or special events? Or want to see if you qualify? We want you to go to vettix.org and firsttix.org today. Give something to those who gave.
Hey there, friends. It's Bo Bishop here. You've heard me talk about High Bank's award-winning spirits, but let's talk about the food. High Bank delivers incredible meals and handcrafted cocktails in a space that works for every part of your week. Start with happy hour, drinks with friends, come back for brunch worth planning your weekend around, then stay for dinner. And get this, kids eat half off every Monday. Great food, award-winning drinks, a reason to come back time and time again. Make a reservation today at a location near you at highbankco.com. Dine, drink, distill at High Bank.
Can't get enough of your favorite fan content? Good news, we're on all the digitals. Follow 971 The Fan on X, Facebook, YouTube, The Talk, and Gram. Your digital home for endless shenanigans. The Fan.
Would you enjoy watching a football game if the officials were paid a bonus for every flag they threw? Or a basketball game where the refs got paid for every foul they called? Okay, how about hiring a furnace and AC company that pays its technicians by the number of parts they can sell you? Hi, this is Dennis, president of Care Heating and Cooling, and today, this is how many companies operate. They call it performance pay, and it rewards technicians by paying them more for billing you more. Why is this bad? Because it abuses your trust in a technician to be treated fairly and honestly. At Care, we've been family-owned for 31 years and have always paid our technicians by the hour for repairs. We'll show you exactly what needs to be fixed and why, and give you our low upfront cost before we start. And unlike other companies, our technicians will never be rewarded for throwing more flags. Our Central Ohio-based staff is here for you 7 days a week. Care Heating and Cooling. Book an appointment online at careheatingandcooling.com or call us at 1-800-COOLING. When you need a company you can trust.
Bet365 is paying out before the final buzzer.
Check out Bet365's unrivaled early payout for basketball. When you bet on a team to win and they take a 20-point lead, you get paid no matter the final score. Forget the final buzzer and start counting that cash. Hold up, you can early payout on parlays too.
Download the app and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio. T&Cs apply.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Live, local, and still slightly drunk.
I'm not drunk, all right? I just have a speech impediment.
This is Fan Sports Sunday.
Final segment of the 1 hour Fan Sports Sunday before we pass things off to Brandon Beam and Jacob Reimer prior to the 1 o'clock tip. Rhyme time? Oh, this is my no. No, that is my bad.
Here we go.
Yeah, all right. So
there we go.
See, this is what happens when we invite guests in.
Right, just gotta make sure their mics.
I even turned myself on. You just didn't have me up.
I know. Okay, so 1 o'clock tip. The Buckeyes are in East Lansing. First of all, I have to run something by you guys.
Okay.
So Rothman gets an email this week from a fella named Roger.
Is this like a listener or?
Yes.
Okay.
Listener, as far as I know. So Roger sends him an email because apparently I had a bad segment. Shocking, I know.
Yeah.
I had a bad segment on Rothman and Ice this week. I don't know what it was, but Roger was not a fan.
You didn't leave your mic on during the floor is yours, did you?
No, but apparently that was a problem when you were doing it. Which that segment
So Roger emailed Rothman to criticize you?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So first of all, you can find my email, I'm sure, wherever you can find Rothman's on our website. So it's like just, you can get it straight from the source. Hello. So Roger emails the station. He emails Rothman and says, TLC is the second most annoying personality on the station.
Ooh, did he say who the first was?
No, that's the worst part.
Oh, man.
I want it to be me.
How can you not? Well, I'll get to that in just a second. How can you not foresee the follow-up question? The immediate follow-up is, well, who's first?
Yeah,
I don't even care that he thinks I'm the second worst. Who's worst? Like, so I'm thinking, if I just had to put myself in Roger's mind, like, who would be the most similar to me? And I want you both to judge this on this station. Just knowing that I am his second most annoying personality on the station, who would he put first based off of who you think is most similar to me? Because honest to goodness, I think the answer is Dylan.
This is a no-win situation to answer this question.
Well, here's what
I mean, I feel like I haven't been here long enough, but you haven't been here that much longer.
I've been here longer than both of you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So for you to fly up the board and be second already, congrats.
I know. I'm making a name for myself. I guess is how you want to look at it. But
I feel like
think
T-Bone is the normal answer. Well, over the past decade of time here, people get really annoyed with him.
Well, he had himself a week a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, with that question going around.
Yeah, I don't have my drops ready. I can't. Look, man, I can only play drops that I'm producing. I can't host and play drops at the same time. It's too much going on.
Have you seen what his Zeta looks like with all the drops? I filled in for him, and I'm looking at all the drops. I feel like I'm looking at a mad scientist's brain.
Well,
hell yeah.
I try. We have a good amount of drops on our show too.
Let's see, I got Tyvis, blah blah blah.
I was staring myself in the mirror for a good 10 minutes today looking at it.
See, I clipped that up for you, Cole.
Thank you.
Yes.
We got.
See, it's tough to play Tyvis. Tyvis has a lot of droppable content,
Absolutely.
but it's hard to play Tyvis on our show because they don't know the difference between Tyvis recorded and Tyvis live.
Yeah.
So I like that you use the Tyvis drop.
But here's why I think you would be number 1 on his rankings or number 3. I think you and I have to be sandwiched up against each other in this because Roger, whoever he may be, I'm kind of I don't know his age, don't know his ethnicity. I don't know anything about him. I just know his name. And I know that he emailed Rothman. So I got to think that there's a little bit of, hey, the show's called Rothman and Ice, not Rothman and Ice and TLC.
Yeah,
Stay in your lane, producer.
Yep.
So I kind of think that there might be a little bit of, the producer doesn't know his role, hang out behind the glass and, be a button monkey instead of like trying to host your own show in the middle of their show. And so being that you are also somebody who just, stands behind the glass and yells into the microphone, similar to myself,
right?
I think that you're a candidate for potentially the most annoying personality on the station. In Roger's mind.
Yeah, I'm not mad about you.
But to be fair, I think
I'm self-aware.
For both of your guys' shows, you guys have a lot of segments where you guys come up with things for the host.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of like inside baseball. So that's why when people say that, I'm like, whatever.
I wish I had less. You know why? Because they're all the same, and I have about 30 questions to come up with all week long, and the second that we can can all those segments, fine.
Ins and outs is basically just tell the truth just earlier in the show.
Well, yeah. And there used to also be true or false. So they had in or outs on Wednesdays. They had like true or false on Tuesdays, and they're all the same as tell the truth, which is every single day. That's a lot to ask of me, to be honest with you.
Rothman wants to know the truth when it comes to everything. Apparently, he wants to know what people really
wants to give the truth.
Yes, his truth.
Oh my goodness.
Can we get to the reason why we invited Reimer to come on the segment?
Yes. So you and I are both going to be third and fourth party arbiters because Dylan is upset with my co-host. My co-host again. Roger's going to be upset with me.
Promote yourself, Cole.
No, see, Roger's going to be upset that I just promoted myself. But so Dylan has a problem with something that Ice said because apparently Ice said that this Michigan State game is a must-win game for Ohio State.
I feel so. Common Man and Timmy started this first, and then Maddie said it on Friday, and it hurts me every single time Ohio State has a game. They're like, "This is a must-win game for Ohio State.
Yeah,
this is a must-win game. If they want to make the tournament, this is a must-win." And Maddie said this game was a must-win. And I just want to get your expert opinion, since you are the college basketball guy of this station. I'm declaring you that. I don't care how you feel, if you think that's true or not.
I appreciate that, Dylan.
How do you think Ohio State needs? What's the worst case scenario Ohio State could do to end this season and still make the tournament?
Let's see. So I don't think this is a must win because you have 2 other quad 1 opportunities after this. Now, if you drop today and you drop Iowa the next 2, I will declare Purdue a must win. But I've been saying that I think this Michigan State game is very gettable because I don't trust Michigan State's shot making. They're very streaky. They're not a great 3-point shooting team. They love to run and transition, get points at the rim, and they're a great rebounding team too. I think they're 3rd in the conference in total rebounding, 2nd in offensive rebounding. So what I would love to see Ohio State do today is just pack it in defensively, guard inside the 3, and then just box the heck out and limit those second chance opportunities. So I think to get into the NCAA tournament, the least they have to do, beat Iowa. I'm assuming you win Indiana and Penn State. Beat Iowa and win 1 game in the Big Ten tournament. I think you're fine. I think you're in.
Okay, so ESPN author Neil Payne, he breaks this down in terms of teams that are locks, teams that should be in, teams that have work to do, and long shots. He labels Ohio State as a team in the Big Ten that has work to do, and he couples them with Indiana and USC.
Absolutely. That game against Indiana is going to have a lot of weight on it at the end of the year, and it's great that it's at home. But last week, or during this week, they did a mock selection show with media, and they assumed that Miami of Ohio was left out of the tournament, not out of the tournament. They lost in the MAC championship to Akron. Well, that put Miami of Ohio in Dayton as an 11 seed, and it left Ohio State out. So if you're an Ohio State fan, you need to be rooting really hard for Miami of Ohio to go undefeated through this thing, which would be awesome. But if you go 2-3 in this next 3 games, I feel like you're in, because you're beating either one of Michigan State or Purdue. And I feel like those 2 wins would hold enough weight to where you can have a leg up on somebody when it comes to Selection Sunday.
I feel like this is turning into an interview, which is not how I intended for this to go. But I have a question for you. So when Ohio State beat Wisconsin, like everyone made a huge deal about all right, they got their quad 1 win.
But it's not. It's a quad 2.
It fell?
It never was.
Oh. Okay, well,
Wisconsin's not in the top 30, which is insane.
They're 34th. It could be a quad 1 win, but it probably isn't going to be.
Yeah. Okay, so who was the quad? Because they had one, then it fell out.
It was Northwestern.
Okay. Either way, my general point in all of this is that how many does it take? Because I almost don't even understand this concept. Is you need 1 and then you're good. It's well, what if you lose 6 other quad 1 games? Then it's you're 1-6 in the quad 1, or hypothetically, I'm just throwing out numbers.
Well,
but
right
then
now
it's
they're 0-8 in quad 1.
Okay, well if they were 1-7, that wouldn't be great either.
Well, North Carolina got in last year going 1-11 in quad 1 games, and I think you're probably going to need 2. Hopefully that Northwestern game can somehow flip, and hopefully you can get one of these next 3. But if you can get 1 in the Big Ten tournament, that's for sure going to be a quad 1 game. So if you're able to do that, I feel like you're going to be fine.
Okay, so let's lay it out. At Michigan State, at Iowa, Purdue, at Penn State, Indiana. That's the 5 that they got left. They currently stand, as we count them up, math. They are tied for 8th with Iowa in the Big Ten. However, because of the overall win-loss record, it looks like that they're going to get bumped down to the 9. So that would put them with 4 first-round buys. With 3 first-round buys, they're only going to get 1 of them. Mm-hmm. We're out of time. Pound sand, Roger. Stick around. Brandon Beam and Jacob Reitmer next.
Question from a listener: do you dopes ever get tired of talking about Ohio State? No? The Buckeye Show.